For ingestion, your body craves food, so you voluntarily put food into your mouth, and that starts the digestive process.
The mouth is the beginning of the digestive system. It is where food is put into the body, and it starts to digest through mechanical digestion. The mouth digests food mechanically by chewing it to grind and tear into smaller pieces. The front teeth, right here, are used to tear the food, and teeth further in the back, right here, are used to crush and grind the food. During chewing, the tongue grips the food and constantly repositions it between the teeth. The tongue right here. And the tongue mixes food with saliva and forms a bolus. The tongue initiates swallowing by pushing the bolus posteriorly into the pharynx. We masticate the food by opening and closing our jaw and moving them from side to side while using our tongue to move the food between the teeth. The jaw would be somewhere around here, over there. The teeth tear and grind the food, breaking it down into smaller fragments.
The second part of digestion in the mouth is deglutition, or swallowing. It has two phases, the buccal phase and the pharyngeal esophageal phase. The buccal phase is voluntary, and you place the tip of your tongue onto the hard palate and contract the tongue to force the bolus into oropharynx. As food enters the pharynx and stimulates tactile receptors, it passes out of our control and goes into involuntary reflex activity. The pharyngeal esophageal phase is involuntary and is controlled by the swallowing center in the medulla, or the lower pons. Motor impulses are transmitted through the cranial nerves and the vagus nerves into muscles of pharynx and esophagus. The tongue blocks off mouth, and the soft platelet rises to close off the nasopharynx. The larynx rises, so the epiglottis covers its opening into the respiratory passageways, and the upper esophageal sphincter relaxes.
Chemical digestion involves the breaking down of food into simpler nutrients that can be used by the cells. Salivary glands, here and here, secrete saliva. Parotoid glands, sublingual glands, and submandibular glands, all shown in the diagram, here. Saliva. So saliva wets the food and coats it for swallowing, and the saliva comes from the salivary duct right here. Chemical digestion begins in the mouth where food is mixed with saliva, which contains an enzyme called amylase that begins to break down starches. Saliva is projected from three glands: the parotoid gland in the front of the ear and secreted near the cheeks, the submandibular beneath the mandible, and the sublingual glands beneath the tongue. So they're right here, here, and here. Saliva contains enzymes such as lysome, an antibacterial agent, and amylase, which breaks down carbohydrates into simple sugars via hydrolysis. Saliva is also used to lubricate the food, making it easier to swallow.